Imagine knowing that everything you experience is a reality you are creating. Imagine finally understanding that with the right belief system, you never have to be sick. Imagine never having to worry or have fear about anything because you are in control of it all. What will you do when you find out this is all true and what you have been told to believe is false? It is time to learn the truth. Well, hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of Reality Changer Radio. It is Tuesday, October 8th at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And right out of the chute, I would like to apologize to everyone for not having last week's broadcast. We had some technical difficulties beyond my control. And so I do apologize for that, and hopefully I can make up for it this week. This week I'm going to be talking about some different stuff. I'm going to switch it up a little bit and get into some of the mechanics of changing your reality and doing it on a long-term basis. And we're going to get into some coaching and some other issues that happen. But first I'd like to address something that's going on the external. And that is, one, the government shutdown. And two, government-mandated health care. What I'd like everyone to understand and think about, okay, no matter which side of the fence you're on, is placebo drugs. And this is a dead horse I beat all the time. If placebo drugs didn't work at all, then they would have no effect. Placebo drugs work on your belief system. If real drugs worked all the time, they would never have negative effects, and they would also work on every single person, which they don't. And the reason that placebo drugs work on a lot of people and don't work on a lot of people is because the people that it works on believe that it's going to work. Plain and simple. And the people given the same placebo drug that don't believe it, they're not going to get anything out of either side, because if you look at the clinical trials that have gone on through history with the various drugs, you're not going to see 100% on either side. You're not going to see 100% positive or negative on the real drug, and you're not going to see 100% positive or negative on the placebo. However, almost across the board, you're going to see 48 to 50% success with the placebo drugs. If your belief system had nothing to do with it, you wouldn't see any success with a placebo drug. People would just sit around going, nah, that didn't work. Okay? So I needed to say that tonight before I start in on the whole government thing, because it's very important to keep at the top of your mind that your subconscious belief systems control every aspect of your reality, including your health. Okay? Including your health. Placebo drugs are the reason that you need to think about what's going on in a different fashion. Your subconscious belief system is the reason placebo drugs work and don't work, and it's the reason that real drugs work and don't work. It's not the things themselves, it's our belief system about it. If I can make somebody believe that sugar water is a cure for warts, and it cures their warts, then where are we? Really, think about that for a minute. Where are we? If you can believe that that sugar water will cure your warts, and it does, then what? It's not the sugar water. It's still just sugar water. It hasn't changed its chemical complex one iota. Okay? So I need you to never forget about placebo drugs and why they work. Okay? And I want you to constantly think about that, because that is your number one clue on the external that your subconscious is in control of everything based on the belief system that has been programmed into it for you. Now, with that said, if your subconscious belief system can change sugar water into a cure for warts, does it really matter what healthcare plan you're offered by anyone? Think about it for a minute. If you and your belief system can change regular sugar water into a cure for anything, then does it really matter if you're offered a health plan for this or for that? Okay? Think about that for a minute. If you're in control of the sugar water using your belief system to cure your warts, or whatever it is you're curing, then using your belief system, couldn't you do the same thing for other stuff? I mean, come on, let's think about this for a minute. If you can have that kind of dramatic effect on just sugar water, then what? What can't you do? Okay? What can't you do? Look around you. Okay? What can't you do? Now, with that said, who cares what health plan you have? The only reason that you would care is because you're going to ignore your own power. You are a powerful spiritual being, and you get to control your reality. Now, you don't have to. Okay? That's your choice. But never walk down the road thinking you're a victim, because you're not. You are not. And once you know the truth, what are you going to do? Is it easy to change up? No. Is it long lasting after you do? Absolutely. Just like the mess that you're in now. Okay? If any of you are listening to this broadcast and you have ailments, you have back issues, you have this, you have that, sometimes chronic ailments, okay? All of that stems from an emotional issue. I'll give you a great example. A lady's having angst over proceeding with her business because it's scary that she is going to take the next step, and she's really worried. She's got a lot of issues going on. Anytime you own your own business and you take it to the next level, whatever that level is, you get butterflies and you get a little nervous, because you're jumping with a leap of faith sometimes. And any of you small-time business owners or managers, you'll understand exactly what I mean. So she's in this mode where she's about to make these decisions, and what happens to her? She breaks her toe and wrenches it on a stupid little carpet. Now, you need to think about the symbolism here, because this is how we are with our bodies. That foot injury prevents her from moving forward physically. Okay? It's a representation of what's going on inside. Okay? And I go back to, I'm sure you've heard me talk about this, and if you haven't, listen closely. I go back to my back pain that I had several years ago, where I just fell down crippled. as if my lower back was broken. Okay? And what it was is I had anger from a job that I was working on. And I never got to yell at the people, and I had all this bottled up anger because I was an angry person then anyways, not like I am today. But the bottom line is I was almost crippled from that for a couple of weeks until somebody worked on me, and I've been pain-free for almost 6 years now, okay? But I get it. There's a great book by Dr. John Sarno. He is a back physician, and I believe he's a chiropractor too, but don't quote me on that. But he also talks about back pain and how it's tied to your emotional issues. Look, folks, there's no joke. Whatever your emotional issues are, you can harm the body with it. You can heal it and you can harm it by the same way, okay? Just like hypochondriacs can eventually get something because they honestly believe they have something, okay? That's the effect your subconscious has on the body, all right? So with all of that said, why do you need to choose which doctor you're going to go see when you decide not to keep your body in shape using your subconscious belief systems? Okay? That's just what I said. If you're going to choose a doctor, it's because you have a belief that you're a victim. And let me explain that. You have a belief that you're not in control, and that, quote unquote, something could happen. All right? This is the type of attitude that I'm trying to get everybody away from. That whole something could happen is a what if. Okay? And you're making excuses because, A, you don't want to control your reality, and that's fine. You're not wrong for that. You're making a choice, okay? Or B, you really don't know or believe that you can do it, okay? Which is why I point out all the time examples that you can wrap your head around of how the unconscious belief system controls your body and controls your reality. Okay? As a hypochondriac, I can make myself sick. I can change sugar water into a cure for warts. I can do this, I can do that, I can do this. Why do I need a doctor? Why do I need to get sick? Am I not getting enough attention at home? And if I get a cold and I start sneezing and coughing, people will pay attention to me? That's real possible. And folks, let me tell you, that's a real deal. Because our stories and our programming from the time we're a little kid, they're still with us until we dig them out of there. So let's say, for instance, you never believed you get enough attention. Okay, you see people all the time like this. It's the look at me syndrome. You say, oh man, they're just dying for attention. It's always look at me. Yeah, it is. And that's their outward external expression of it. That's their projection of their lack, quote unquote, of attention. And they'll do whatever they have to, include getting sick, just so that somebody notices them and pays attention to them and acts as if they care. This is what we do, folks. We do it all the time. Look around the room. If you're not the only person there, look around the room. Come on. Everybody has to point at each other and go, yeah, we all do it. Okay? But that's what's going on. See, this is what's crucial here. You have to understand what's really going on in order to appreciate how you can change it. Okay? I could just sit here and say, well, you're in charge. You go, oh yeah, big deal. What does that mean? But you need to appreciate what's really going on with you and with other people. And why? Okay? And once you start realizing exactly what's going on and why, then you start getting the idea about how you can change it for yourself for the better long term. I mean, life for the rest of your life. You don't have to have it. And look, I've been into this for 40 years, and I'm not saying that it's easy, and I'm not saying that you're never going to slip up, but never make yourself wrong over that, because that's just the way we are. But start down the path of understanding of exactly who you are and how powerful you really are. The government doesn't dictate your power. That's old school programming. The schools don't dictate your power. Your job doesn't dictate your power. It's the opposite. You dictate all of it. And if it's not working out for you, it's because of the crappy programming you were given. Okay? But know that you can change it. By the same token that it was given to you, you can change it. So how wonderful would that be, right? You're sitting around and it's an oh woe is me episode one more time, and we all do it. And you know, my life sucks, and I get sick all the time, and my car's not working, and I think I'm going to get fired, and whoa, whoa, whoa. Well, just like I always tell you, when you concentrate on all that negative stuff, that's the energy that you're putting out into the universe. Okay? And that's the energy that's going to manifest things for you. Now, if you put out positive energy versus negative energy, what do you think the difference is going to be in the things that are manifested for you? Okay? It's going to be a lot different. So, you need to do a check on yourself. Okay? And understand that, look, whatever the government wants to do, whatever, okay, it's going to do whatever it does. And eventually what's going to happen here, folks, is people like myself are going to reach enough people like you, and we're going to wake up the whole effing world to what's really going on, and all of this is going to change. But people say, well, you got to march in the streets and you got to bang on doors, and no, that's just another distraction to take you away from the important work. And the important work is inside you. That's where the important work is, because you dictate your reality and you dictate your own health code and your own health system. Okay? Nobody else does. So if you don't like the health plan that your company gives you, stop getting sick. Plain and simple. You know? And sure, is that really just so easy for me to say? Yeah, it is, because that's the solution. Stop getting sick. How you do that is the inside work that you need to do on a daily basis for changing your belief system and living a different life. Okay? And this is what brings up the concept of coaching here, because I coach a lot of people, and so many times everybody, and because this is how we're programmed, we want instant changes, we want instant solutions. And because of that attitude, we think that one or two sessions and we're going to just wrap it up and call it a day. Well, the fact of the matter is, how old are you? How long did it take you to get where you are right this second? You think that 2 90-minute sessions are going to fix it? Let's get serious here. If you're already coming to someone like myself saying, I don't have enough time to even meditate for 15 minutes, let's get real about this whole thing. You know? 2 sessions is not going to fix. Hell, 10 sessions is not going to fix it. Okay? It's a situation that needs to change slowly, because you're already in a space where you've been programmed to believe you don't have enough time to help yourself. And again, that's just another programming. That's just another thing that you can control. You can control your work environment. You can control time. You can control the whole thing. Okay? The whole thing. Come to one of my advanced classes where I tell you how to control time. Slow down and speed up time. Okay? Or how to control a future conversation that you haven't had yet. You know, you want that raise? Whatever. You got an idiot at work? You can deal with that. Okay? One of my last broadcasts, how to get a better work environment. Okay? You can control all this. But you need to start doing it. Okay? Most of the work is on your end. It really is. And you have to, what's your future worth? What is your future worth? What type of commitment are you going to make to yourself? Do you like the way you're living right now? Do you like the successes or the failures that you're having right now? Is this the ideal? If you could go 15 years in the future and your life looks like it does today, does that make you smile? Okay? Does it? I don't know. I'm asking. Some of you out there may say, yeah, my life rocks. Okay, cool. Well, what about all the people where it doesn't? What about the poor guys that work 12 hours a day and still can't pay the rent? Okay? You are being handed a line from your programming as a child, and your belief system is twisted, and you have the control, you have the power to change it all, but you have to have the pain, and you have to have the commitment to do it. No amount of courses or classes or sessions or advice or radio programs are going to mean anything if you don't take action. You need to take action. You need to be determined. You need to promise yourself and make a commitment to yourself that you're going to change your life for the better. You know, it's the same thing about weight. You know, people go, oh, I've tried diets and all this. You got to take action. Okay? You can join all kinds of health clubs and everything, but if you never go, guess what? Nothing ever changes. And it's the same with changing your reality. You need to make a commitment to yourself. What are you worth? What are you worth? Are you worth $100? Are you worth $1,000? Are you worth $1 million? What do you think you're worth? Okay? You need to make that commitment to yourself. And do you have to jump on and do it whole hog and say, okay, next week I'm going to be a changed person? No, because that's not how it works. That's how we've been programmed to believe things work. And then we get disheartened when they don't, because they never work that way. All right? They never work that way. So take that for all it's worth and throw it in the trash. You need to start small. You need to do the happiness meditation. That's what you start with. But make that commitment to do it every single day. And then your attitude changes. You want a goal plan? You want a business plan? It's the same thing as far as changing your reality. Write down what you want for the next month. And then add something to it every month. Give yourself a month. Give yourself a month. Look, it took you how many years? What are you? You're in your 20s, okay? So it took you 20 years to get here. All right? If you're any older, then you do the math. What? You think it's going to happen overnight? No. Sorry, it's not going to happen, and it doesn't work that way. And more often than not, you need somebody like myself and other people to go to on a regular basis, because you're going to slip up, you're going to have concerns, and that negative programming that is deep inside you is going to rear its ugly head and try to prevent you from succeeding. And you're going to have concerns, and you're going to have doubts. Don't try to do it too fast. But understand that look, you didn't get here by yourself. You didn't do this to yourself. You had other people doing this to you. You think you might need some help from somebody to get it all undone? Of course you will. You can't do this on your own, or you would have already done it if it was that easy. And it's not. You know, this is what I tell everybody, folks. Once you're switched around and you've got the proper mindset and belief system, having what you want on a regular basis sometimes is so easy it's scary and freaky. Okay? It's the getting you turned around to the proper mindset and the belief system that is the hardest part of the whole deal. Because 99% of it falls on your shoulders. You need to make the commitment to yourself. You need to tell yourself, I am worth it. I am worth it. I am worth it. I deserve to live life on my terms. Why am I living someone else's life? My family is suffering. I'm suffering. Why? Because I won't make that commitment of 15 minutes a day? Seriously? And you know, we all have these things that keep us busy. Cell phones and people's arguments, and people want to cry on your shoulder and all this. This is all part of what I explain in my classes that you need to get rid of. This is all noise. These are all noisemakers. And the more noise you have, the less you're going to be working on yourself. You need to quiet your mind. You need to quiet your mind, and half the battle on quieting your mind is getting rid of the noisemakers. People that want to complain to you, people that want to suck your energy out of you. The news, stop watching the news. Oh my God, it's horrible, horrible, horrible. Yeah, well, you know what? You don't need that. Okay? Stop looking at anything negative. If you're not living the perfect life right now, then you need to check yourself as far as anything you read or talk about, because all of it has energy. Okay? And you need to find somebody who is going to coach you through those tough areas, because you can't do it on your own. Hell, I have my wife. My wife will sit here and she'll say, well, what do you tell people? You know, I'll have those moments. And thank God I have her. You know, she's into the energy too. You know, she's a Reiki master and she does the theta healing and everything. And she says, well, what do you tell your students? What do you tell your clients? And I'll go, oh yeah, I could have had a V8. You know? This is where it's at. Every one of us needs a coach. Hell, some of the top business professionals have business coaches. Look, do you want success? Then you need somebody who's A, going to hold your feet to the fire and say, okay, what did you do? Why didn't you do it? And what's your next step? And B, you need to be committed. And don't allow yourself to be swallowed up by the old school programming of I don't have enough time, because it's wrong. Look at all the stuff you're doing every day. Okay, you say, oh, I just need some time to relax. This is the time you do stuff, man. This is the time that you do a happiness meditation, or you listen to a relaxing MP3 that can change your life. You want to relax, you want to escape. You know, you say, oh, hey, listen, just give me a few minutes. I just want to relax and unwind. That is when you do it, because you're tired and you're open. And let me tell you something. You get in the habit of that, and people go, so how do you unwind? Oh, I unwind by changing my reality. I unwind by creating a better life for myself. The more that you stop and give yourself time to quiet your mind and start doing these meditations and doing these MP3s and doing all of these exercises that are going to lead you to success, The more you do that, the less headaches you're going to have, the less stress you're going to have. And it's going to show. It is going to show. It does it. It happens. And if it doesn't show as fast as you want it to, then you're not wrong, and you're just going with that old school programming of wanting it now. Wanting it now, okay? So you need to stop worrying about what everyone else is doing. Screw the healthcare. Seriously. Look, you've got the potential, you've got the power. The question is, do you have the commitment? That's the real question. Do you have what it takes to commit to changing back to what you once were before you were programmed? Do you have what it takes? Do you care? Do you care? If you don't care, okay, fine. There's nothing wrong with that. However, don't bitch about your life. Don't complain. Because you're making a conscious choice. Free will, folks. You know, your choice is simple. You either care enough about what's going on in your life right now to change it and to make the commitment to change and take the action that's needed to make that change, or you say, look, I'm fine. I don't really want to put in that kind of effort, and I'm not going to do it. Okay, but then do me and everyone else a favor and quit whining. Seriously. People do this all the time. And, you know, I'm giving some tough love here right now, but it's needed. There's people out there all the time. They whine and they moan about what's going on in their life. But, you know, do you think they'll take half of that time and do something about it? No. Because it's easier for their conscious mind to play the victim role. Oh, woe is me. Oh, this guy lied to me on an interview. Oh, this guy won't hire me. Oh, she cheated on me. Oh, get a life. Okay? The fact of the matter is, the only reason these things are going on is because you have internal issues that are creating the reality that you are experiencing. That's the truth, folks. Good, bad, or indifferent, your internal situation creates your reality. Anything you see on the outside, the external, it's all to guide you back inside, to take a long, hard look at yourself. You have the power. You have the choice. If you don't like what's going on and you say, okay, I'm done, then you have to really be done. You have to be committed. And again, it's not going to take 1 or 2 sessions, because those old programming negative beliefs crop up and they're going to bite you in the butt. And then you're going to be sitting there, it's going to be 8 o'clock at night, and you're going to be just like, you know what, this is just too much for me. I'm just going to go to bed and go up and go to work tomorrow and forget about it. And then you just go to bed because you go, oh, well, you know, I could use some extra sleep. But you know, instead of going to bed early because you need the extra sleep because you're working so hard, go to bed on a regular time. And that time that you would spend sleeping extra, use that time for your changes. You see, look, if you're serious, then jot down on a piece of paper exactly what your day looks like. And I mean to the minute. All right? Because a lot of people, they go, oh, you know, I don't even have time to watch TV. Stop watching TV. Look, you're going to take short sacrifices for long-term gains. Okay? Nothing that's achievable is achieved without some sacrifice. Okay? Acceptable losses. Oh, you can't watch TV for a month. Big deal. What happens when a year from now, you get to watch TV all the time because you made those sacrifices a year earlier, and instead of watching TV, you worked on yourself. And you made yourself better, and you enhanced your power, and you changed your reality, and you started living life on your terms. What about then? There's nothing on TV that can't wait. You can record it, you can find stuff on the internet, whatever, okay? You can change your day-to-day schedule. Well, I've got the kids and all that. I get that, okay? But you can manifest them being easier to deal with. You see, this is the madness. This is part of the madness. Every excuse that you could give me for not having time to do this is something that you could control if you did this. Do you see the madness here? The only reason you don't have time is because you're not giving yourself time. And you've never been told this because you were programmed to believe, well, you're not going to have time because you got kids, or you're not going to have time because of this. And so you have this, and then automatically you don't have time. Why? Because you already believed it. So you created that reality. I know somebody that thought that they needed to work longer hours to pay the bills. Okay, because they were worried about something else that was going to cost something, okay? And really, they shouldn't have worried, because what they should have done is take that time that they were worrying and turn it around and manifest a positive result using that same energy so that that wouldn't be an issue. But they didn't, okay? So what did they do? Because they got so concerned about having to work longer, their workload tripled at work. Now they can't work enough, and they're exhausted. They're going in early, they're coming home late, they're working an extra 2 or 3 hours a day. And for what? And then, when it started to dawn on them to let go, and I always use what everybody raises their eyebrows when I tell people stop caring, but in a sense that's what you're doing. When they realized that the other thing didn't matter, and if they just spent some time controlling it, it would be okay, guess what? The workload eased up. Once they took their mind off of that, and then once the workload eased up, they came to me and said, you know what I discovered? I said, what's that? That I have just as much work that I have now, but I seem to be getting it done by 1 o'clock in the afternoon instead of 8 o'clock at night. I said, really? And they got it. They understood. This is what we do. You control every aspect of your reality. And you're going to do it. You don't have an option on doing it. You have an option on controlling it. You manifest 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You have no control over whether or not you're going to manifest. It's the nature of the beast, folks. Where you have a say is whether or not you're going to live by default and just let what happens with you being affected by the external, and then that affects your internal, and that affects your external. A vicious cycle, huh? Or you have that other option. You can say, okay, I don't like what's going on in the external, so I am going to change the internal so that the external changes. And make no mistake about it, on both situations, it's your internal affecting the external. Your difference is you're letting it or you're controlling it. That's the difference. But the process stays the same. Your internal situation is always going to design and manifest your external situation. Always. Your choice here is whether or not you're going to live someone else's life in the old school programming, or change your reality and live life on your terms and control the internal so that your external changes. That's your choice. You don't have to do it, but believe me when I tell you this, if you make the decision to do this, you have to stay committed. And that's why you need somebody like myself and other coaches to be there when you fall short or have a question or need extra guidance or don't know what's going on. Okay? So this is what you have to do. You have to stay committed, and you just have to do it or don't do it. And either way, don't make yourself wrong, because either way you've chosen exactly how you're going to live, and it doesn't matter. Okay? It just doesn't matter. So, that's the end of our show for tonight. Let me do one thing for you. I want to tell you about stuff that's going on this weekend. On the 12th, I'm going to be doing a Basic Laws of Manifesting lecture at the Learning Light Foundation in Anaheim, California. It's a half-hour lecture, and it starts at 12:30. So if you'd like to come down and meet me and discuss what we've been talking about tonight and listen to what I have to say, please come on down. It's an awesome place. And the following week, I'm going to be having a Law of Attraction meetup here. But the big news here is on the 26th of October, down at the Learning Light Center again, I'm doing a 3-hour workshop, and it's going to be Basic Law of Attraction 101. So you're going to learn all about the programming and the belief systems, and you're going to get tools to take home with you and all of that. So if you want to check that out and get the RSVP number, go to my website, whatyouthinkiswhatyougget.com, and click on the classes button at the bottom, and you'll see the information for it. Just look for the Law of Attraction 101 on the 26th of October. Okay? So everybody, I hope you have an awesome evening. I hope you have an awesome life. And until next week, I am out of here. Okay? All right, well, that's it for today's show, folks. I hope you enjoyed it and are a little closer to living life on your terms. Join me next week, won't you, for another mind-blowing show about the truth of reality. Until then, my reality is not your reality. What are you creating today?